South Dakota Mines fell to 5-5 overall and 4-4 in the RMAC as it dropped a 35-28 decision to CSU Pueblo on Saturday at O'Hara Stadium. This week, the Hard Rockers hope to bounce back against rival Chadron State and maintain possession of the Eagle Rock Trophy. Hello, I'm Alex Dodd, and welcome to the South Dakota Mines football show presented by the Rapid City Journal, where for 15 to 20 minutes each week, we'll take you inside the program with Hard Rockers head coach Charlie Floor. And Coach, between this week and next week, we've got two shows left. It's kind of hard to believe, but how's it going this week?
Everything's been going good. It's like you mentioned, hard to believe that the fall season is almost to an end, and we're getting ready to play our last football game of the 2023 season. So, from my standpoint, our staff standpoint, we're trying to soak in every moment we can with this senior class, with this football team, and making sure we're doing everything that we can to make sure they're enjoying their last experience this week of the season.
Do you feel like senior day every year just kind of brings the reality of the fact that the season is coming to an end to the forefront? Like, it just kind of makes it so obvious that, this year's almost over when you have a senior day.
Yeah, most definitely. We had our senior day last week when we played CSU Pueblo, and, we honored 8 phenomenal seniors that day, and, very thankful for what they've done, for our program. It's good to see a lot of the family members back, some parents, that I honestly didn't recruit. They were already part of the program, but there was a few of the seniors that we, recruited here. So, from that standpoint, very emotional day, just knowing it's their last time to play a game in O'Hara Stadium and in such a special place that our kids get to play in. We had a phenomenal crowd that day, and I think it meant a lot to our senior class. The amount of support that they've continued to have here at O'Hara Stadium and at South Dakota Mines.
On Saturday, you guys fell behind early with some kind of costly turnovers, but you were able to push back and pull it within one possession there at the end. But how difficult was it to try and, start in that hole and be able to work your way back?
Yeah, that's been tough. You go back and look at the makeup of our season this year and the games where we've started, kind of behind schedule, so to speak. Those first 5-6 minutes have really hurt us as a football team. And, I've got to do a better job myself as the head coach and looking at, all aspects of our program and how we can, fix that and be better at that moving forward, especially at home. Their first touchdown, their kid fumbled the ball and then another one picked the ball up and ran it in for 7 points. And then we have a turnover and, 2 plays later, they go in and score. So, we've got to find a way to learn from those things. Very happy and proud of our kids and how we really competed for the 55 minutes after that and, really made it a tough competitive football game. And, we had a lot of opportunities in that game to, tie it up and, maybe even take the lead. But, against good football teams, you've got to find a way to start fast and not put yourselves in a hole early.
What did you guys as a coaching staff see on film when you were evaluating last week's performance against a really good Pueblo team?
I was just really proud of how our kids fought, how they came out and competed. You look statistically at that football game, we were very evenly matched. We ran the ball better than they did. I'm very proud of our defensive effort, that they rushed for one of their lows for the year. And offensively, we were able to run the football against a pretty stout defense and defensive line. So, there's a lot of positive things we took out of that football game. And, like you said, it was a one possession game leading all the way up to the end. And, you take out the first 5 minutes of the football game and it's a completely different game. So, a lot of things we'll improve from, we'll learn from, and, make sure that we're getting those talked about this week.
You mentioned the offensive output. It was a really balanced effort from you guys, 162 rushing yards, 243 passing yards. If not for the turnovers, it really seemed like you guys were able to get into a rhythm offensively. And it seems like you guys have been progressing in terms of being more balanced over the course of the season. Is that something that you guys have noticed as a staff as well?
Yeah, most definitely. Our kids have really, taken ownership in what we're wanting to do. Like I mentioned every week, our offensive line, they're pushing us. Hey, we need to run the football. We need to run the football. And they've continued to answer the bell on that. And, it's really opened up some things within the passing game. We've been able to, continue our creative ways on the offensive side and move people around to different spots and make it very hard for us to defend. And it's made, practice, a lot more fun in regards to, the things we're able to do. And then to see some of those, trick plays and, different motions and shifts, have success. It just keeps our kids a little bit more engaged on the practice side of things. And then when we're able to execute those on game day, it makes things a little bit more fun.
I think one of your guys said that you guys were playing a little backyard football when Ben completed the 20-yard touchdown pass to Henry Dryden late in the second quarter. How important is it for you guys to keep opponents on their toes and throw in wrinkles like that throughout the season? It's not the first time you've run a wide receiver pass or a trick play this season, but how important is that for you guys to keep people guessing?
It's huge. We have to continue to find ways to get our playmakers the footballs, and whether we're running the ball or we're throwing the ball, or if it's trick plays here and there. I think it really gives us an opportunity to set the tone of what we want to do offensively, and not let the defense set the tone on how we or what we're doing offensively. So, from that standpoint, our offensive staff does a really good job of finding creative ways to get our playmakers the football and make it very tough and challenging for us to be defended.
And in the running game, Jalen Fry, 18 carries for 92 yards. What'd you see from him on Saturday and the way that he's really grown into his role over the course of the season?
The biggest thing I'm very happy with Jalen is, he shows up every single day, and, he knows he's not the featured back. We've got a lot of other backs that, are potentially in the game that can make those things happen. But the thing that, I'm very, pleased with is he shows up every single day. He's wanting to work. When he does get his carries, he makes the most of the carries. When he's not getting the carries, he's helping those other guys out in regards to what they need to do, or this is how I see things. Are you seeing the same? And, he's a great overall teammate on and off the field. And when he gets his opportunity to make the plays, he's stepping up and truly making them.
It's something that's kind of been a theme for your football team over the last few weeks is that you've had other guys that have stepped up and taken advantage of opportunities. How have you guys kind of seen that play out from the wide receiver group, from the running back group, even in the quarterback group when Jake has gotten reps, he's taken advantage of his opportunities there too?
That goes a lot to our preparation. Our offensive staff does a great job of making sure that, all of our offensive players that are traveling that week or are part of the game plan are getting reps in that. And, I think that says a lot about the continued depth that we're bringing in from an offensive standpoint. We talk a lot about it, whether it's play one of the game, play two of the game, or the last play of the game. No matter who it is, you've got to be ready to go. And we're not afraid to put in a guy that's a sixth-year senior or a true freshman. And if we have enough confidence in you to put you in the game, you're going to go in and execute the plan, execute the mission. So, from that standpoint, when you see the productivity of our offense and it's hard for them to focus on one or two guys all of the time. And you've got some other players within our offense making some critical third down catches, or, when we need 2 or 3 tough yards, it doesn't matter who the ball carrier is, they're going to get those. And a lot of that is just our offensive staff and what they do from a practice standpoint, making sure if you're the number 1 or the number 3 or number 4, what your role is going to be. And if you're called to accept that role in a critical time, we trust you that you're going to execute it.
You mentioned your defense and the output that they were able to have on the field this weekend, limiting Pueblo in the run game and really making it difficult for one of the better offenses in the RMAC. What did you see from those guys and the way that they even overcame, maybe some short fields in the game?
Yeah, offensively, we had 3 turnovers in that football game, and we put our defense in some really tough situations. Anytime you're giving the opposing offense short porches, it makes things really difficult. And, we were able to hold them to some field goal chances instead of touchdowns. 2 of the 3 field goals they end up missing, which were huge in that football game. Our defensive staff, continues to put together great plans in regards to what we feel their strengths are going to be. Our kids play extremely hard on the defensive side. We had an opportunity for another fumble and, things didn't go our way within that. They're being a very opportunistic, they're flying around, making huge plays. They're believing in the schemes, believing in one another that, when their name gets called to make those plays, they're doing it. Very proud of our defensive kids and just how hard they continue to play for one another and have continued to put out, great numbers statistically.
We talked about your seniors earlier in the show, and you've got some seniors that have been in the program for a while on that defensive side, and they've got one more chance to put on a Hard Rocker uniform this weekend. But how much are you going to miss those veteran guys on the defensive side that have meant so much to this program?
Yeah, those 8 kids are, they're phenomenal. They show up every single day and go to work, for what our kids go through academically, and then to come out to practice and stay focused at the task at hand and trying to make sure that we're giving them the best college experience that we possibly can. I couldn't be more prouder of those kids. And, I know this Saturday, we're at home or we're not at home. We're on the road playing against a rivalry game. And, our kids are going to make sure, that the 8 seniors are going to go out with, the best that they possibly can. And the 8 seniors are going to continue to do the things that they can. They only get 60 minutes of football left. And, that's the thing I'm going to miss is just how much they've meant to our program and how much they've continued to not only give their best foot forward as individuals, but make sure that the younger kids know what the standard is after they leave.
We've bounced around it the whole show, but now it's time to talk about this matchup this weekend. It's rivalry week again for you guys. Not very many programs have two intense rivalries like the regional rivalries that you guys have. But you guys are hitting the road this weekend to face Chadron State at noon on Saturday at Don Beebe Stadium. Earlier this season, you secured the Homestake Trophy. Last year, you got the Eagle Rock Trophy for the first time in a very long time. What would it mean to keep that trophy in Rapid City and go out and beat Chadron State again?
Yeah, I think it's huge for our senior class. It's huge for our football program. That was one thing we talked about at the beginning of the year of, this senior class forging their legacy and what legacy they were going to leave behind. And, this is one thing that, I know was on their goal sheet is, we have an opportunity now after securing the Homestake Trophy to, go and win the Eagle Rock Trophy. And, for us and our senior class to potentially have both trophies in our trophy case would mean a lot to them. Anytime you can win on the road, win the last football game of the season, that's, typically the one football game that senior class and that, team is going to remember, what you did at the end part of the season. It'll give us huge momentum moving into, the recruiting class and coming in and securing a great recruiting class, but it'll also continue to give our incoming kids and the kids for next year's team a lot of motivation in regards to, what we need to do and how we can continue to improve for the next season.
Chadron State is 4-6 overall and 3-5 in the RMAC. They got off to a really rough start to the year. They were 1-4 through 5 games, but they found some momentum here as of late. What have you kind of seen from the Eagles on film and the way that they've progressed over the course of the year?
Yeah, the thing that I've really noticed is, it doesn't matter what the outcome is of those football games. Coach Long's got those kids playing extremely hard. The amount of pride that those kids have within the program, very similar to, our type of kids that we have within our program. They're never going to give up. They're going to continue to fight. Last week they got down early, but they battled themselves back into making it a very tough football game. Their staff's going to have those kids ready to go. It's their senior day. They're at home. They're going to do everything they can to make sure they're wanting to get what they want and retain the trophy or get the trophy back to Chadron. So, I know it's going to be a very tough, hard-nosed, physical football game. Our kids are going to be ready to go and ready for the environment that we're going to be presented in. And that's the thing I'm really excited about is, you mentioned rivalry games and being the last game of the year. And, there's a lot more meaning behind the last game of the year than what a lot of other teams are getting the opportunity to play in.
You mentioned, how much this means to the fans, how much this means to the players, but what does this game mean for you guys as a staff on the recruiting trail? Because, you guys do go against some similar area kids in recruiting battles with Chadron. Obviously, you guys on the academic side have a little bit different of a kind of kid that you're looking for maybe, but what does this mean for some of the area kids that you guys are after on the recruiting trail?
I think a lot of it just, like you mentioned, depends on the types of kids you're getting, with the academics and with us being a STEM-based institution. But just from a regional name, Chadron State, South Dakota Mines, and Black Hills State, we really kind of run the western side of South Dakota and the western side of Nebraska. We recruit a lot of the same kids, a lot of the same high schools. during the summertime, we work a lot of the same camps together. So from that standpoint, it's the branding and the imaging of what South Dakota Mines is, and we feel like, a game like this, and especially if we can come out and win it, will help us with our brand and the type of football that we're playing here at South Dakota Mines. And yes, we are a STEM-based institution, but we feel we play a really good brand of football, and we're going to try and continue to make our brand better.
When you guys went up to Black Hill State, you had a great student crowd that traveled, a great fan crowd that traveled. Chadron State's just a little bit farther, but what would it mean to see a big crowd of Hard Rockers in the stands this weekend when you take the field in Chadron?
I think it'll be huge. I know there's a lot of stuff going on this weekend with some other events. If we can get the Hard Rocker Nation to go down there and be very supportive of our student athletes at 12 o'clock down at their stadium, it'll be big for our kids, our program. Just again, see the support that our kids are going to get, and then after the game, come back up here to Rapid City. I know our men's basketball team plays at 6 o'clock that night, and our people continue to show up every single week, whether we're at home on the road, and I know that means a lot to our kids. Just show the support that we've got within our program, and as well as the rest of the athletic department.
What's it going to take to finish the season on a high note, secure that another winning season, and win this rivalry game?
Our kids got to be ready to compete for a full 60 minutes. It doesn't matter what's going to happen in the first, part of the game, the middle part of the game. It's how the game's going to be finished. So our kids got to be ready to compete for, a full 60 minutes because I know, their program's preaching the same thing. We've got to make sure we take care of the football. Last week, turnovers hurt us as a football team, and we've got to make sure that we're securing the football as best as we possibly can. Be very detailed in special teams. Their special team staff does a really good job of doing some different things to kind of keep you on the toes. So, we've got to make sure we're doing everything we can from a special team standpoint to make sure we're locking into those different things. And probably first and foremost, last is just enjoy it. We got 60 more minutes to play together as a football team, and it's been a long week just with the care activities and, us not being able to practice Tuesday because of the NCAA and the care activities that, with it being election day, we weren't able to do anything. So it's been a little bit different of a week, but we've got to be able to enjoy the process this week and make sure we're embracing Saturday afternoon and doing everything we can to enjoy the process and enjoy the last 60 minutes we get together.
Well, Coach, it's been great having you on the program again. We'll do one more next week to put a bow on the season. For head coach Charlie Floor, I'm Alex Dodd from the Rapid City Journal. Continue to follow the Journal for the most complete coverage of Hard Rocker athletics.